Hey guys, what is going on? It is Anthony here, back again with another video, and today we're gonna check out an Ibanez Gio. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I just want to give a quick shout out to my good friend and bandmate, Joshua Frato. This review would not be possible without him, so huge shout out to you, bro. For all you guys watching me for the first time and have continued to come back and support me, be sure to follow him and support him in all his vocal videos. Dude is an absolute beast. Absolutely happy to be in a band with him. And as always, Josh, thank you for allowing me to review this. Without further ado, we're gonna continue reviewing this and go on with today's video. So hope you guys enjoy. And again, thank you guys for your continued humbled support. So on this guitar, we have an Ibanez tremolo bridge. We have one volume, one tone, a 5-way blade switch. We have two Ibanez Infinity humbuckers. We also have a Purple Heart fretboard, a maple neck, 24 jumbo frets, and a poplar body, as well as an Ibanez matching white reverse headstock. So first impressions with this guitar, I gotta say that there are some things on it that I actually like this guitar and actually enjoyed it more than I thought I would. The reason being because, you know, when it comes to like the Ibanez Gio line, you know, you kind of think, oh, it's only like for beginners or starters, and which, although that is fundamentally true for the most part, I actually found with a really good setup that this thing actually has played pretty smooth overall. And for only $259, I actually got it to play pretty decently. Like, I'm not saying it plays like the best out of, you know, any guitar in that price point, but for someone starting out, this is definitely not a bad option at all whatsoever. I actually found myself like achieving some really good tones overall, even with the Ibanez stock pickups, interestingly enough. And I don't know, I mean, after I got this thing set up properly and everything, it actually turned out that it was actually better than I was anticipating. And that's something that's, you know, I don't usually say that lightly, because there are some guitars that I've played in my personal time within the Gio line where I'm like, wow, like this guitar does not play great even after like a good setup. But this one, for whatever reason, even if it's not like perfect or like absolutely outstanding, I got it to play the best I could get it to, you know, play. And I'm actually achieving some pretty good results overall, better than I would expect. So without further ado, I'm gonna plug this in for you guys, and then we're gonna talk about the pros and cons. We're gonna now talk about the pros and cons. Starting with the pros, playability overall is actually not bad after a good setup. Going into this cold turkey, I honestly was not expecting for this thing to play comfortable, if at all. This is one thing where if a guitar does not play well, regardless of like the price, like it's something where I will tell you. And I have to say, after even a good setup, I actually was able to achieve some very decent playing results overall. And you know what? For a Gio, I was honestly expecting much worse. But I'm glad that I was proven wrong in that department. So another pro I want to talk about, and even though these aren't like amazing pickups, I gotta say the Ibanez Infinity pickups on this guitar kind of surprised me. I was expecting these pickups to flat out suck, but I found myself achieving actually some really good tones with them with my amps boosted, and they sound fine, they sound great. They do a good trick, at least the bridge pickup I know does for sure, and it doesn't sound bad. I mean, the reason why I also say this is because if you guys remember the Ibanez RG7321 model that I reviewed, I changed out the pickups in that guitar, and the stock pickups in those were like not great at all. But in this one, even though it's a Gio, the Infinity pickups actually don't sound too bad, which does surprise me, but I'll put it in the pros for this list. For a beginner guitar though, and a starter guitar, I gotta say, stock pickups don't sound bad, and they're a pro on this list. Another pro I will say is the 5-way blade switch. It does give you more tonal options. So if someone's a beginner and they want to experiment, they can as they progress more and more with their musical journey. Another pro too, if you want to call it a pro, is the cool looking reverse headstock. So the strings will be nice and loosey-goosey on the high strings, and then it will be nice and tight for modern metal chugs on the low strings. So that's always super cool. And the fact that it's a matching white body with the matching reverse headstock. You also get a nice paper thin Ibanez kind of wizard neck to go along with it, which is super duper cool. And yeah, I think that will sum it up for the pros, but overall, I was expecting much worse. So we got to talk about the cons now though. The first con, and this is really the only con that I can really mention that is worth mentioning. Well, two things actually, but the main one is the bridge. I do not like this bridge at all, if I'm being completely honest. And not that the bridge is necessarily like uncomfortable or even not usable, but like if you're going to use the trem especially, it does not stay in tune at all, and it's not stable. I can even do simple vibrato and I find the strings going way out of whack, even for not even going crazy on it after like a second, which is not fun. I mean, do you expect these kind of things? You do for a guitar that in this price point. And you know, this is kind of geared towards a beginner. So I mean, they're not gonna really invest in something like a really high quality bridge, especially for a guitar in this price point. So you kind of expect it. Another con too I wanna mention is, although I will say that the frets don't play bad necessarily, there is like a grainy feeling on the fretboard with a lot of the frets whenever you are playing higher up the neck or in certain parts. Like you can get this thing to play as smooth as possible with the right setup and, you know, knowing how to adjust your action. I do feel like the frets themselves are not very smooth. I mean, do you expect it again at this price point and for what it's geared towards? I mean, you do. I've played many beginner guitars or starter guitars where the frets may not be very polished or, you know, really looked after. So, I mean, I kind of expect it for a guitar like this. But I will say, even with all that being said and done, and factoring that into account, I gotta say, after a good setup, it plays better than I would expect it to, especially for the customer it's aimed at. Another thing I do want to mention too is, I mean, again, you also expect this, I'm just splitting hairs, but like the tuners are probably not the best, but then again, I mean, we all know what this is aimed towards, and I will give you guys my overall final thoughts at the end, but I think that'll sum it up for the cons. So overall, I'm giving this guitar a 6.5 out of 10 guitar picks. It definitely does a decent job, and it's a decent guitar overall if you set it up properly and you make the most of it. I wouldn't recommend getting this if you are wanting this to be your end-all be-all axe, unless you want it just for the body alone or something to turn it into like a really cool guitar project that you're going to personalize. But if you really want to buy a guitar and you're a serious musician, I don't think I would really recommend this as an end-all be-all. But if you're somebody where you either just need a practice guitar, or you're a beginner, or you're just starting out, this is definitely a great option if you want to play hard rock and metal and you don't have a lot of money on you. Or if you're just in that like kind of phase where you are like a beginner, but you're not really sure if you want to fully pursue it, so you're not like completely out of money by breaking the bank on going with something better, then this is definitely something that's comparable. But if you're someone that is like a serious like intermediate, or someone that is a very serious musician that needs something that is going to be reliable for either the road or for getting the best quality they can for the best bang for your buck, I'd say spend a couple $100 extra and try to look on the used market and get something better. But if you're somebody that is just a flat out beginner, flat out starter, I would say definitely go with this. The reason why I say what I said for serious musicians and people who are maybe like serious intermediates that are still progressing with their guitar playing journey is because by the time you mod this, even if you were to try to make this a keeper, you could literally use that same money by getting something that's already upgraded and that's already better quality and better playability right out of the box. So I don't know. I think this is just more geared towards, you know, starters, beginners, and that kind of a thing for the most part. There are a few exceptions, and there's maybe some people that would probably be really happy with this, and that's totally cool. But yeah, overall, I would give this a 6.5 out of 10 guitar picks. I'm able to get some good tones out of it, but it definitely has some things where, I mean, for its asking price, you do typically expect, but for the money and for the quality that you're getting, I would say for someone that's a serious musician, invest in something that is better quality and that is gonna be better playability overall. So that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. And again, thank you so much, Joshua Frato. Huge shout out to you for allowing me to borrow this guitar of yours. For all you guys watching, I appreciate, again, your humble support. Leave a comment, leave a like. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Share this with all your friends and family. I'm Anthony Zafilio, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.